Enable it in your browser or download Flash Player here. Sorry, you need Flash to play this. How the Russian election unfolded. It was the victory rally he never doubted he'd join. 2 hours after the last polling stations in western Russia closed, Vladimir Putin strode on stage beneath the Kremlin walls to declare his re-election. With a broad smile, he thanked the country for what he called a vote of confidence and promised to work for the future of a great nation. He then led the crowd of loyal, flag-waving fans braving the freezing cold in a chant of Russia. Russia. This was an election with 8 candidates but one clear winner from the very start. Russia's most popular opposition politician Alexei Navalny had been excluded and a communist candidate was vilified by state-run media. The society girl turned activist Ksenia Sobchak ran her entire campaign on the basis she would lose. President Putin shunned the pre-election debates entirely while the other candidates made threats or burst into tears. No wonder some critics called the whole event a circus. Dancing to Putin's tune turnout was the only real variable. So the vast majority of election billboards were not for individual candidates but simply reminders that Russians were choosing a president. On voting day itself there was music and entertainment to help pull in the crowds. At one central Moscow polling station a man on a balalaika played Western rock hits in front of a stall selling cheap buys. Life in Putin's Russia explained in 10 charts. Google's most popular Putin search queries answered there was a mini ice hockey game for children, and face painting. Pensioners could take the chance to sign up for activities including ballroom dancing and keep fit. It was all part of the effort to secure a maximum support for another 6 years of Vladimir Putin. The vote was held on the anniversary of Russia's annexation of Crimea, the moment when the president's rating had soared to a historic high. "I want to see change, I am so tired of his leadership," Olga said, after casting her ballot for the only female candidate in the race. "I want to see my country develop in a different way. I'm not voting for Putin," Carol agreed, recalling that Vladimir Putin had been in power since 2000. "He's been president too long and should go." Does Putin's Russia reject the West? Vladimir Putin, Russia's action man, president better than Trump? What young Russians think of Putin. But the final result, a landslide victory, showed that the vast majority of voters disagreed. "We have started to live much better under Putin. Patriotism is spreading. It's wonderful," Galina Zakharova said, one of many smartly dressed voters emerging from a central Moscow polling station. "Russia has become a very powerful country. We're rising from our knees. I really like it." Tough guys. Russia has risen. Relations with the West have sunk, most lately with furious accusations from the UK over the poisoning of a former Russian spy. Shortly after his victory speech, Mr. Putin made his first extended comments on the case, calling claims of Russian involvement utter nonsense and insisting his country destroyed all chemical weapons unlike our partners. Most people here are baffled by the whole story. To some, like Dmitry heading into another central Moscow polling station, it's a chance for their president to act tough on the world stage. He's one of the most powerful politicians in the world, a real tough guy, and that's good. But squaring up to the West only has limited appeal, according to political analyst Ekaterina Schulman. The besieged fortress mentality is very useful to mobilize the incumbent. It reinforces the idea that there's no alternative, she says. But it makes the electorate anxious and tired. It wears them out. Ultimately, she argues, the focus will have to shift to people's real concerns, their shrinking wealth, healthcare, housing and education. But judging by Vladimir Putin's first comments after victory, a sudden thaw in relations with the West looks unlikely.